This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. In lieu of our usual 7-minute preamble open, we've resorted to just a short "here we are" and have at it. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Kilowatt 8, Echo Papa Sierra.
Echo Papa Sierra, Roger, Roger. What's the name?
Echo Papa Sierra, Roger, Roger. What's the name? The name is Eric, located near Columbus, Ohio, running a Kenwood TS890S and about 600 watts. I spoke to you recently after I constructed my first Electret microphone, and I had a question about how those operate.
Roger, Roger, Eric, go ahead.
Roger, Roger, Eric, go ahead. Okay, now I'm broadcasting right now on a Heil PR40. I use that one because I think it's got a better sound overall for I'm on. So, now, with the Electrets, I've built three different manufacturers of the element, the condenser element. And what I've noticed, Jim, is I cannot run much compression. It's like they're really sensitive for compression. If instead of a 30 out of 100 for this Heil dynamic mic, the Electrets want to run around 2 or 4, maybe even 8 on compression. And I do not understand why, if I have the microphone level set correctly for my ALC, why I have to dial back the compression so much just for the Electrets.
Roger, Roger. Could be the frequency content in the room, but that's one way of looking at it. What I'm saying is maybe the frequency response capabilities of the Electret microphone far exceed those of the dynamic mic, which we know in the top end that happens. But it would seem to me that if you set your ALC with your audio tone, that is in generality probably about between 500 and 800 hertz, that tone. So if you set that with both of them, it would, and you would have to do that with the compressor processor off. In other words, let's see, probably the safest way to set those would be, let's see here, I would think off, because the higher output of the Electret microphone would affect the compressor if the compressor were on at the time of set level. Roger?
Set level, Roger. I understand. I have worked through that. That was one of the things I was trying to eliminate, and I really didn't see much of an improvement in that regard. Now what's interesting, Jim, I started out, when I made my first one, it was a Radio Shack condenser element, and it was 3 wires. You connected your B+ into 1 wire. You connected a 1 microfarad non-polarized capacitor to the audio output, and then you had your ground. That particular element, I can run around 15 on the compression, and it sounds really good. Then I got 2 other elements. One was a CalRad, which is probably similar to the old Radio Shack, but it's just 2 wires. And I had another one from China. And both of those ended up, I need to run my compression at 4 or 2. Otherwise it sounds a little too harsh. And I'm still running my microphone level maybe 10 higher than I am on this Heil right now. So I even played the game of sensitivity the condensers. Some of the condenser elements I've tried were minus 64 dB. One was minus 50 dB, and it had lots of gain. But they all behaved the same way when it came to the compression. And whether I ran it with the compressor off and set the mic level, or ran it then with the compressor on, it seemed like I just couldn't get up much compression, or it sounded very harsh.
Roger, Roger. Well, it could be the tonality of the electret mic. In other words, some of your settings might be more basic to wideband audio frequency response versus other settings for that mic that might make it more mid-rangey or top end or bottom end, whichever it may be. What you would probably want to do would be to run an additional frequency response characteristic of the element that you're looking at to see exactly what's happening tonality-wise to the spectrum as the microphone performs. Roger, it might be super hot in the middle. It might be not super, but it might be cold in the middle, or the top or the bottom. Until you run a frequency response characteristic, you would not be able to determine that, probably just by ear.
Roger, I understand. If I had to gauge, as I look at my spectrum analyzer, it is very robust in the mid-range, but yet it's still got a good signal level on the higher end, and I'm running my EQ flat, as you recommended, with just a hint of a maybe 2 dB kick up after or below 300, just to balance things out. And it looks pretty flat on all three microphones as far as my spectrum analyzer shows. So I'm wondering if maybe I could hook up my my last one that I've done that seems to have the best spectrum and have you listen to that.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, and the best way to run that frequency response is take compressor off, come in the front, mic gain at minus 50 or whatever, and let's see. Then you would want a voltmeter to look at the output of that electret mic at lower levels. I guess the output would be somewhere around 40 or something like that. But the other thing is, take the best 1 out of 3 and run with it.
Okay. Yeah, I can do all that as far as analyzing it. I've got a scope and meter and my spectrum analyzer. So I can do that. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that the last element, which was the CalRad brand, that one seemed to have the best tonality for my voice, anyhow. And I think I ended up at a compressor level of 4 and running about 58 or 60. Out of 100 on my ALC mic level, whereas like with this Heil mic, I'm running 54 right now for that level, and I'm running 30 for the compressor. So I can do that. I think if I had to judge, Jim, it sounds to me like the electret would be better for doing DX and contest work because it does seem to emphasize the upper level, I guess, syllables and everything, and makes it just a little more easy to understand if there's a lot of noise. Whereas this Heil is very well balanced across the board, but to me it sounds like it's more for rag chew. I guess I could ask you right now what you think about the setup of this Heil PR40.
Oh, just beautiful. Sounds really, really good. Do all those electret mics have crispers built in?
Crispers Yes, sir. I did it the same way, the way you described it, and made sure that, in fact, what I've done is I've taken a Shure SM58 studio mic, handheld, and I have built 3, I'm going to call them cartridges. I built 3 Electret microphones with the associated capacitor and wires and grounds, etc., to an XLR 3-pin that I can just push into the bottom of the microphone, and they all have crispers, and then I can test each microphone the same way with a foam filter and having the Electret in exactly the same place. I built them identical so I could do that testing.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, there's 2 things. Bottom line, what I do after I do meters and stuff like that, I've got this microphone online, and I'm going hello 1 2 3, and I'm listening on cans to the output of the transmitter, you know, in monitor, very low level, but I can hear it, you know, and I go 1 2 3 4. And then I listen for the pump up, if there is some. There usually is. Even at a 3, there's a slight amount of suck up between words, which nobody usually hears, except if you're really looking for it. And that's how I determine exactly where that compressor processor is working correctly, because I just want that to be barely heard, probably just by me. Nobody else is going to hear that, but and then I know that that 3 is the ideal slot for the compression processor level. Roger?
Processor level, Roger. Roger, this is Kilowatt 8 Echo Papa Sierra. That's exactly how I ended up listening to my Electret microphones on monitor with headphones and listening for the suck up, and I would turn it down from 30 to 25 to 20 to 15 to 10, and it would get better and better. And then when I'd get below 5, and depending on the Electret element, it might be 2 or it might be 4 on compression, I wasn't really hearing the suck up to any kind of a noticeable amount. So that's exactly how I tried to configure my compressor as a way of getting it set to the right level so it wasn't sucking up. You've talked about that ever since I've been listening to you for a couple of years, and so I was sensitive to that. And when I was able, like with this high microphone, I'm running 30 on compression, and it doesn't really have much of a suck up on it. But the other ones, if I was 10 or higher, I could hear that background noise sucking up, and it didn't really go away till I went below 5. And I was just curious if that was a characteristic of Electrets, or was I not getting them configured the way that you would?
Well, this brings up the Bob Heil trick in the book there. You know, his original challenge was to bring up the mic level on the 7300 to where it more naturally inclined to be 100% modulation at around the midpoint on the mic volume capability. So there was a realization that Electret mics had by far and away better power output than dynamic microphones. So that's why he deliberately chose the Electret microphone for the 7300 to bring that that mic input level up, or you know, to gel with the mic volume level control. Roger.
Level control. Roger. Roger. Yeah, and I've been kind of watching since my standard being the Heil dynamic and running around 54 right now on the mic level. If I had to go to 60 or 66 with an Electret, I didn't feel like that was that far out of range, and I'm certainly not having to run a 20 or something where I'm kind of out of the optimal range for the amplifier. So I'm trying to keep it there in the middle, because you've talked about that a lot over the years, and I use that as one of my guidelines to, if I can, stay between like 45 and 70 on any microphone. But this Heil is running 54 with a compression level of 30 out of 100, and the Electret is running about 64 on a mic level with a flat EQ, and it's able to run a compressor where I'm not getting the suck up, other than, like you said, if I've got headphones on, I can just hear it coming up. So I'm trying to stay in that middle range where everything was designed to operate.
Roger, Roger. Well, I would assume that there would be a maybe 20 dB difference between a dynamic microphone output and just a straight Electret microphone output. I've never really looked at it that close, but I do know that the Electret was way hotter usually than the dynamic mic. Roger?
Dynamic mic, Roger. Roger. I think this PR40 is listed at like minus 55 dB, something like that, maybe 56. And the Electrets went anywhere from 50 to 60 to 64, minus 64. And I noticed that, because this is a journey for me as an engineer, I noticed that I would have to bounce my mic level up when I was running a minus 64 versus a minus 50. So I've been playing that game. I just running a crisper on all three setups. I'll tell you, Jim, it sounds crisp. The audio sounds really crisp, and it's really punchy in that 24 to 27 to 3,000 range. Great articulation, and that's why I said I think that the Electrets would be great if I was working a contest or trying to do DX.
Roger, Roger. So you're on the dynamic mic at the moment?
Yes, I'm on the Heil PR40, and I do have the Electret hanging up here on a boom. It would take me about probably 60 seconds to change over.
Okay, go ahead and change over. Pick the mic that you like the best, that you think sounds the best. Set it up, as far as compression, processing, and the EQ, and come back with that and let me listen to it. Now, Eric is in the middle of the hocus pocus change the mic element situation here, and when he comes back, he'll be on his favorite home-built Electret microphone featuring auto crisper and foam windscreen. Well, slow coming, but foam windscreen.
Foam windscreen.
I got somebody I think is on Vox. Somebody, if you have your radio on Vox, kindly take it off. I keep getting slapped in the face every once in a while, please. There it goes right there. That's a Vox for sure. Or maybe just a QRMer on time. Hard to say. Let's just see where that is. Right now I'm copying the mail on my PA-SDR. I'm going to go to my Kentucky SDR and just see what that click transfer does. Gosh, don't hear that down in Kentucky. Let me go up to New York. Nothing in New York. Go to stand by.
Yeah, stand by.
This is KC9VKV. We're standing by for Eric. Eric, you got a copy?
Eric, you got a copy? I'm not getting my audio through like I was, and I'm not sure why that is. Let me get back over here on the Heil. Yeah, I was not getting audio from my Electret, and I don't know what that was. I don't want to use up your time to troubleshoot that. But what we'll do, Jim, I will start working on figuring out what the heck happened with my audio, figuring out what the heck happened with, and then you and I can get back together, and you can give me a read on that.
Yeah, Roger. We'll sounds good to me. I can think, measure your B+, make sure you've got voltage there. And I was trying to think of something else. Give me a shout back when things tend to be working correctly in your setup, Roger.
Your setup, Roger. And I appreciate your time, because I really do like the way that sounds for doing the DX work. It is just so crisp, but it's a little confusing to me why I can't run the same level or anything near it for compression. So that's where we are, and we'll get off here, and we'll let you get to some other folks. Hopefully there'll be some more people trying to get on to talk with you. But thanks a lot, and it's good to hear you back. You've been missing for about 3 weeks, and I was hoping everything was okay. So you take care of Electret working again.
Roger, Eric. Well, we're trying to be here and be on the air. It has been an interesting journey. And we are, like I say, we are here for the moment. We may not make the whole day, but we'll try. If all things work out and all of my settings, one way or the other, work. But good to hear you, Eric. And I think that it ultimately gets down to what sounds really good. I mean, you can do all kind of tests, and this, is hot and that's hot, or the other thing. But ultimately, it is the sound that you create. However mysterious you conjure these tonalities that really make the difference. Voltage doesn't, at some point has no difference slightly. Although if you have a big voltage dip or something, the element ceases to work. But all things considered, it is what it is, and if you like it and it sounds good and you're an engineer, so you know what you're talking about. So I'll listen for you. Give me a shout when you can. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Yeah, give me a shout. Yeah, give me a shout. Yeah, K4 OLH. Hello, Jim. Good to hear you back on here.
Roger, OLH. What's the name there?
Roger, OLH. What's the name there? Same old, just enjoying the afternoon, fixing to get off here. Was passing by and heard you. Thought I'd say hello to you, and glad to hear you back on the air, and I hate to hear you had a problem over.
Yes, sir. Well, when you pass 80, there are all kinds of hurdles that you're going to face, so if you've had a good life to 80, you should celebrate that, Roger.
80,
You should celebrate that, Roger, Roger.
That's Roger, Roger. Yeah, I heard today Chuck Norris passed away, so there goes another good one. He done a lot for children and all. So, but anyway, Jim, I ain't gonna hold you up. There might be some more out here, but I did want to say hello to you. Good to hear you, and I hope you continue to get better. You're missed on here when you're not in here. All right, my friend. Take care. 73s. God bless, and enjoy the afternoon. K4 OLH down here in South Georgia.
Roger, Roger, OLH 73, sir. Thanks for checking in and saying hello. We really appreciate that. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
I'm back, Jim. I've got the microphone working.
All right, sir. This is Eric, and we're working on his homebrew Electret microphone. Now, which one is this one? I know it's the Electret homebrew, but which one? Which one is this one? I know it's the Electret homebrew, but which one?
This one has the CalRad element in it. It's not the Radio Shack element. And I have to run about a 4 on the compression and about 68 on the microphone level for the ALC. And I'm talking about an inch away, and I have a foam head on the microphone.
Alrighty, now can you easily switch to the other elements? Alrighty, now can you easily switch to the other elements?
No, I have disassembled the XLR pins out of the bottom of the Shure handheld, and then put another cartridge in and get the screw in. So, in this case, there. But I'm running the right microphone level, and I'm running about. Let me take a look. I'm running a 4 on the compressor. I'm going to go up to 5. And you tell me if that sounds like it's too harsh or there's suck up.
Okay, so I'm standing by for 5. Standing by for 5.
Here's 5 on the compressor, and we're still the mic level is right where it's supposed to be.
Roger, Roger. Well, when you first key down, that compressor is going to be wide open. It's the nature of the beast that your first key, the first millisecond of that key, the compressor is going to be wide open. So the first word that you say before that compressor collapses is going to be quite hard and quite loud, and maybe harsh because of its the element's capabilities of responding to higher frequencies. But past that, say about 2 seconds or a second into that conversation, that compressor processor will mellow out into its nominal 3 or 4 level, depending on what you've got set there. So that would be the way that you would evaluate it. Just a little bit further into the sentence than right off the bat. And however it says, that mic, if you've got 100% on your A&L, 7 or 2/3 on your A&L set on that mic, then that will be representative of 100% modulation, and I think it sounds really good. What you really want to do is A/B between your dynamic and your electrets. That's the thing that I would like to hear. I except the fact that there would be some anomalies between $3 elements in the electret department, but the real comparison would be between the dynamic mic and the electret mic. If you could exclude the devoted equalization that you have cranked in for the one or the other, or the modulation level, the A&L set level, it becomes quite interesting to. It's like what do you call that when you pick a horse to win, and you give it certain attributes for running the quarter in this time, whatever time. So it's I forget what they call that, but anyway, long story short, lots of luck as far as being able to directly compare the dynamic microphone with the condenser mic.
Roger, I have turned this up, Jim, to a 10. Instead of 30 on the Heil, this is a 10, and it sounds a little harsh to me, but I was wondering what you thought. 5 and below sounds a little cleaner to me, but I'll just keep talking a little bit here so you can evaluate. But yeah, right now it's running 10, and in fact, while I'm talking, I'm going to turn that back down to 5. And you can tell me what the difference is now that I've gone down to 5.
Okay, I'm looking at your output on a VU meter off the audio out of my 7300. And so when you were up there in those higher ranges, audio levels, I could see that you were running at approximately a 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly where we need to be. And then as you started to back off on the level, you started to get wider in your dynamic range average percent of peak modulation. So you went from a 3 to a 5 to a 7 in there, you know. So your level, your apparent percentage of peak modulation dropped off quite a bit.
I understand. Well, maybe I'm being too critical. That Heil dynamic has a very mellow, almost a broadcast quality to it. I'm back up to 10 on the compressor since you said that was giving me 3 dB. And I may just be too critical at this point. So we can run this, and I'll get into a contest here one of these days, and I'll see what the comments are on this mic, or if they act like they have trouble hearing the enunciation. But I've got it on 10 right now, since that got me to the 3 dB point, and that's where we're going to leave it. We'll run it a while. I've done a lot of testing, switching back and forth between the 3 Electrets and the Heil, and I just have to admit, the Electret has a crispness that the Heil kind of mellows out. It sounds great, but it's more of a broadcast kind of tonality. And this, to me, sounds like it'd be ideal for working DX.
Roger. Now, don't forget, what is your EQ curve? You know, that plays directly into the top-end EQ of your element. So what is your EQ curve, and what kind of equalizer are you running there? I forgot.
Your EQ curve, and what kind of equalizer are you running there? I forgot.
Yeah, the Kenwood equalizer is an 18-step equalizer, and you recommended that I run it flat, and that's what I've been doing. So the only thing I do to get a little more on the bottom end is I boost 2 dB below 300 to fill out that 100 to 2900 bandwidth. And that seems to bring it up on the spectrum analyzer a little bit to give me a little more low end, so it's not all top end. But it is flat. It's a 0, and that's where I've tested all of my Electrets.
Roger. Now, the ideal frequency, I think, is at 200 hertz. 200 hertz is a nice low frequency that doesn't get in the way. 300 hertz is a little bit higher and does start to play into the mid-range capability, although the real mid-range starts at 450 or 500 right in there. But if you pull that down to 200 hertz instead of 300, you're going going to increase your bottom end there. And also then on the top end, if you're saying all of your controls are flat or off, except for that low frequency EQ at 300, you want to put that on 200, and on the high frequency you're up there at 2.7, I think, is the ideal push frequency. Did we discuss 2.7?
I think is the ideal push frequency. Did we discuss 2.7?
Well, that's been the traditional frequency, but you said that because of the higher capability of the electret up there, that I should try to run it flat, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so maybe come down about three or four clicks at the 2.7 down. So let's see if we roll off just a tad of that, what it sounds like. I'm just curious.
Just a tad of that, what it sounds like. I'm just curious.
Okay, I've rolled it 3 dB down at 2.7 and 3.0, and on 2.4 I went down 1 dB just to kind of smooth it into it, but basically dropped off 3 dB on 2.7.
Yes, sir. I think maybe you might want to listen to that and see what you think. To me, it sounds a little more, less attack around the throat, you know. Not quite as hot on the top end. So maybe that's another idea to consider, is a slight roll at 2.7 instead of that in push, Roger?
At 2.7 instead of that in push, Roger?
Roger, Jim, we'll do that. I can hear it in the headphones that it did roll off some of that sharpness at the top. So that's a really good place for me to start playing. And we will, it looks like I'm averaging 3 to 5 dB on the compression as I speak. And that's kind of a sweet spot for me. So my spectrum analyzer looks like it's pretty full, and that's kind of the way I like it. So I'll let you go this time. I figured out what was going on before, and I wanted you to hear this electret. And I will experiment a little bit on the top end. So you have a great day. Glad to have you back, and hope you get a whole bunch of people calling you today. It's Kilowatt 8, Echo Papa Sierra, clear.
Eric, Echo, Papa, Sierra, Roger, always a pleasure, sir, and don't be a stranger anytime. Glad to talk with you about mics or power amps or whatever you might have in mind. I know your engineering background, and I appreciate that because you've learned how to tackle problems in a certain way that you move forward, and I was really impressed with your answer about why you didn't conduct a test on the upper end of that microphone with a push, that we had suggested, because you took the fact that it would do that and you just ran with it. You didn't waste time verifying it. Good job, man.
You didn't waste time verifying it. Good job, man.
Roger, 73, sir.
Roger. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 4, Mike Delta. Whiskey 4, Mike Delta.
Mike Delta, Roger, what's the name?
Mike Delta, Roger, what's the name?
Name here is Matt. Mike Alpha Tango. Good afternoon.
Roger, Matt, what's your location, sir?
Roger, Matt, what's your location, sir?
The location is Rixieville, Virginia. Just outside of Culpeper, Virginia. Roger,
and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Roger. And what radio are you running today, sir?
The radio here is a TS Tango Sierra 590 Sugar Gulf Kenwood.
Roger that, Matt. Well, if you're interested in our setup, is that an older radio or a newer radio?
In our setup, is that an older radio or a newer radio?
This radio is approximately 5 years old, 6 years old. So it's the older model.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, I have been amazed at some of the older models that do have the 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth in that radio. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it is called wide, and it's 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. It gives you the ability to be all that you can be on the transmitter top-end frequency response, and then give you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. So you should have, you may have 100 to 2900 on your transmit bandwidth, and that's what we would suggest that you put that radio in, Roger.
What we would suggest that you put that radio in, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I have the I will have to look into that and adjust the bandwidth.
Roger, Roger. Well, it's really important because, say, if you had, you know, a lot of radios have different capabilities as far as that transmit bandwidth. Somebody along the way might have put your radio on 500 to 2500 transmit bandwidth, and so you would quite naturally sound like a two tin cans on a string, so to speak. So that's how important that transmit bandwidth selection is, because once you choose, or once somebody chooses that transmit bandwidth to be, say, 500 to 2500, not much can you do to overcome that that bandwidth that somebody else decided was good. So if you don't check it, you could go for the rest of your life with that radio on 500 to 2500 and sound like two cans on a wire, you know, as opposed to being in that nice wide 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. Roger.
Wide 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. Roger.
Roger, Roger. I just looked at the bandwidth. It is set at 2400 high, 300 low.
Excellent. Now, do you have any alternatives? Can you, in those boxes, can you write in 100 to 2900?
Can you write in 100 to 2900?
That I will have to, that'll have to look into. Finally, just got back on the air recently and just put up a new antenna, so I will make those slight adjustments. But thank you so much for all the input.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I would do. You know, get your book out and see. You know, it could be that transmitter does not have the capability of running 100 to 2900. You never know until you look at the book. So, gosh, I would do that. And if it does say that radio could operate at 100 to 2900, I would definitely move that to that. And usually, a lot of newer radios have three selections, and one of those is called wide, which is the 100 to 2900 transmit band width, and there are others that are there, but you know, like I say, you want that 100 to 2900, Roger.
But you know, like I say, you want that 100 to 2900, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Thank you very much for the input. I'm sure there's a couple other stations that want to grab you. Thanks again. From Whiskey 4, Mike Delta.
Whiskey 4, was it Mike Delta or Mike Delta?
Whiskey 4, was it Mike Delta or Mike Delta?
Hi, Mike. Is it Whiskey 4 Mike Delta or Whiskey 4 Mike Delta?
Is it Whiskey 4 Mike Delta or Whiskey 4 Mike Delta?
Well, so we'll never know that. Well, I guess I will later on when I peruse certain places and find out certain things. We'll correct that or no. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November Juliet Mike, November 9, November Juliet.
November 9, Juliet Mike, what's the name there?
November 9, Juliet Mike, what's the name there?
Yeah, the name is Kyle Kilo Yankee Lima Echo. The call is November 9, November Juliet Mike. My base station is in Loveland, Ohio, but I'm remote controlling it to my phone while I'm driving.
Okay, so you're remoting now, is that a roger?
Okay, so you're remoting now, is that a roger?
Yeah, QSL, I'm doing remote operations.
I'm sorry, I missed that last. Repeat.
I'm sorry, I missed that last. Repeat.
Yes, I am remoting. That's QSL, I am.
Keep losing the last part of your transmission. Keep losing the last part of your transmission. Try again.
Transmission. Keep losing the last part of your transmission. Try again.
Station that was checking in remote, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Do you copy?
The Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Do you copy?
I hear your transmission there, but try again. We're listening.
Your transmission there, but try again. We're listening.
Well, today's a strange day. Anyway, we N9 NJM. This is KC9VKV. Do you copy?
This is KC9VKV. Do you copy?
Remote station. This is KC9VKV. Do you copy?
Station, this is KC9VKV. Do you copy?
N9 NJM. This is KC9VKV.
N9 NJM. This is KC9VKV.
Negative contact. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
WA8ORP.
Is that WA8ORP? Is that correct?
Is that WA8ORP? Is that correct?
That's the QSL.
Roger, ORP, and what's the name there?
Roger, ORP, and what's the name there?
The name here is Steve. Name is Steve Sugar, Thomas Echo, Victor Echo, and I'm transmitting on a 25-foot electrical ladder line scrolled up on the floor beside the radio there, out of Akron, Ohio.
Roger, Roger, sir, you're up in Ohio, and what radio is that you're running, sir?
Roger, sir, you're up in Ohio, and what radio is that you're running, sir?
An Electcraft K2. An Electcraft K2. Do it now?
Roger, Roger, so that's an older radio, Roger?
Roger, Roger, so that's an older radio, Roger?
That's correct, and actually, I think I might have had the power turned on. Maybe my signal's a little better now.
I'll tell you what, why don't you, let's see, why don't you tell me about 10 seconds worth of how your antenna system is designed, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger?
And let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger?
Yeah, no. I think this is the 100-watt model of the K2, and I really don't have an antenna up at the moment. I'm figuring on putting it up tomorrow, up maybe on the roof. But right now, this ladder line is just coiled up, standing. The coil's on edge, pointing vertically, so to speak, on the floor beside the radio. So I was surprised that you even answered me and that you could hear me. I forget your GTA one before, but I can't remember where you're at.
Roger, Roger. Well, we're mostly up in Indiana, just across the river from the Louisville area, just across the river from the Ohio. And actually, though, I am receiving you from, there's an island called, gosh, what is that island down in Georgia? Anyway, there's an SDR down in Georgia that I'm copying the mail on you with right at the moment, Roger?
That I'm copying the mail on you with right at the moment, Roger?
QSO. So how maybe my mic gain might be a little high, it looks like.
Roger, Roger. Well, if you're interested, let's consider that that K2 needs to be in the highest bandwidth capability that it has. In other words, there could be a transmit bandwidth allocation that you might want to go for. Ideally, the modern radios run from 100 to 2900 as far as the transmit bandwidth. The other radios from other years are usually less than that. So what you want to do is look at your book and see what your highest transmit bandwidth is on that radio, and then go ahead and set it to that. Go ahead and set your radio to the highest bandwidth capable. Then move to your compressor processor on and add a 3. We're just looking for a slight amount of compression out of the compressor processor, so it's on and add a 3. Then go to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, spoken just as you would speak any other word in a QSO, try to duplicate, importantly, the level that you speak when you conduct a QSO, and try to represent that in your audio sound. And as you adjust the mic gain control, as you look at your ALC meter, you want to put it in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3. 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter, which is the sweet spot as you say the word audio and adjust your mic level. Roger?
As you say the word audio and adjust your mic level. Roger?
Yeah, that's good, old man. I appreciate the comment there, and I'll have to check that out. I haven't had this radio on for several years, and I'll have to dig through the menus on it to even find the bandwidth for the transmit, and also the ALC. I think that's a setting somewhere in the menu. You get that to come up on the bar graph, maybe. But I'll check that out. And I don't want to tie you up too long. Like I say, I haven't had this on for several years, so I'll have to do some digging and some research. But your comments are appreciated, and I'm sure they'll be most helpful.
I'm going to sign out now and let you carry on. WA8ORP clear.
Roger, Roger, Steve, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Delta 4, Tango Mike Bravo.
Tango Mike Bravo, Roger, what's the name?
Tango Mike Bravo, Roger, what's the name?
Yeah, the name here is Paul, Papa Alpha Uniform Lima. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Paul. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
Afternoon, Paul. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
I'm located near Martinsville, Virginia, over.
Roger, Roger. And what is that radio you're running today?
Roger, Roger. And what is that radio you're running today?
Yeah, I'm running an old ICOM 756 Pro 2 with the ICOM SM20 mic on it.
Roger that. Is that a newer radio or an older radio?
Roger that. Is that a newer radio or an older radio?
It's an older one there. It's they made the ICOM 756 and then the 756 Pro. I've got the Pro 2, then they made a Pro 3 after that, but it's an older radio.
Yes, sir, Paul. Well, what you want to do is make sure that that radio is running in its maximum transmit bandwidth. You want to try to keep that, look in your book and see what it is and how to adjust it. And you want to put that radio in the highest transmit bandwidth that it has under $3,000. In other words, you don't want to run that radio at 3,000 because that sets you up for becoming involved in somebody else's conversation. But if you have a transmit bandwidth that, or if you can put that bandwidth in there at 29, that will make sure that you stay out of other people's conversations. Roger?
You stay out of other people's conversations, Roger?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've got it set at 2.9 is the way it's set right now.
Excellent, excellent. And then so you would want to do you have a setting for the bottom? Can you do a 100?
Do you have a setting for the bottom? Can you do a 100?
I think, I'm not sure, this one might go to 300, but I would have to check that. The main thing I'm wanting to know right now is, is my audio too hot?
Doesn't look like it. What I would do would be maybe get the compressor, make sure that's on like a 3. That's what we suggest on the compressor processor, a 3. And then into your ALC to set your mod level. And as you say the word audio at the same level that you would probably speak in a QSO, and you have your hand on the mic level control, as you look at your ALC meter, you want to put that ALC meter in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3. 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter as you adjust your ALC level, your mic level control, as you say the word audio. Roger?
For mic level control, as you say the word audio. Roger?
Okay, audio. All right, everything's looking about where I need to be at, according to what you're saying.
Roger, looks here the same way. So we're saying that it looks like your mod level is very good. And why don't you tell me about the best thing you like about your radio? And let me listen to your audio and see what we need to do EQ-wise, maybe.
Listen to your audio and see what we need to do EQ-wise, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. What I like about this radio is got. Well, I'm 66 years old. It's got a lot of knobs on it. I don't have to go into menu for a lot of things there. It's got discrete mic gain, discrete RF power, and such as that. So, and by the way, I'm not running any compression whatsoever right now.
Roger. Well, see, the thing is, the compression is necessary if we were to consider that an audio signal without compression is a minus 10 dB configuration. In other words, if you're not running compression and you're transmitting audio, it's at a 10 dB compression level. But we want that heavier for broadcast, a fatter signal. So what we ideally would look for would be a 3 dB dynamic range, which means that your average percent of peak modulation would go from 30% at minus 10 dB to 80 to 85% at higher levels, like 7% or through there. Actually, 3% is, like I say, our ideal transmit bandwidth. Roger?
Is, like I say, our ideal transmit bandwidth. Roger?
Okay. Well, I just cut the compression on, and my compression knob is set a little bit under half there. Is that too much?
We usually recommend a 3. A 3 gives you a nice slight compression, but does not give you any suck up between the words. And that's the killer for folks that run high levels of compression. You hear all this stuff between the words, which doesn't do anybody any good. So that's why we suggest a 3 on the compressor processor.
Why we suggest a 3 on the compressor processor.
Okay. Now, are you talking 3 as in clock dial, or are you talking, this thing does not have any numbers on it, the compression level doesn't. I'm at 3 as like 3 o'clock right now.
Yes, sir. Can you imagine that? They're saying, we're not going to give you any numbers. You're not going to be able to deal with numbers, which is what we want you to do. You're not, Anyway, actually, I should have said a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100 to complete my numeric description of the volume level. But since you don't have a numeric description of your level, I would say maybe let's see here what that would be, about 9 a.m., 9 to 10 a.m., somewhere in there.
9 a.m., 9 to 10 a.m., somewhere in there.
Okay, I cut it back to 9 o'clock right there. How does that sound? This is Kilo Delta 4 Tango Mike Bravo.
Yes, sir. Sounds clean. I don't hear the compressor, which is exactly the right level for your compressor processor. That's my theory. If I don't hear it, then it's a good level. And because all I want to do is just kind of tickle the decibels in that compressor processor. I don't want to shake up the world there. I just want just a slight amount of compression. Actually, I'm looking for a 3%. Let me see that. A 30% of transmit increase in volume through your compressor. So the compressor is on, but of course you don't have those numbers because somebody decided they knew better than you. Mr. What is his name? Anyway, not very well respected engineer. I think radios should have numbers and dials, and people should be able to play with those numbers and dials. When they take those away, they're spoiling a lot of the fun. But anyway, so your compressor processor should be at about a 9 to 10 a.m. Roger.
The processor should be at about a 9 to 10 a.m. Roger.
Yeah, that's exactly where I have it. I have it at 9 a.m. And you're saying it's sounding good.
Yes, sir, but now that you have reduced probably your compression level, you need to go back and double-check your modulation level, because it's, when you do one thing, it causes something else. So the last thing you should always do is go back and double-check that your modulation level is correct. So we go back to that, and adjust your mic level control until your ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3, Roger?
Meter is running running 7 or 2/3, Roger.
Okay. Okay. Audio. What's that? A little bit. That's a little bit hot. Let me back it back a little bit. That is on a scale of 0 to 15 as far as in the red part. The green is going up to about a number 9. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Well, if you want to evaluate your ANL meter, if you would consider that the midpoint, first off, ALC meters are usually about half the length of the other meters that it may be in a group with. So, and then you only want about just to the right of half of that ALC meter, Roger?
About just to the right of half of that ALC meter, Roger.
Okay, just to the right of the half. In other words, you want me to pretty much fill up the ALC. I've got a red line here. It goes up to 15, and then it would go past that.
Yes, sir. Well, what I'm saying is that you have that ALC meter. Just observe that the ALC meter is about half the length of the other meters that it may be in cahoots with. So what you want to do is be just to the right of that halfway mark on that smaller meter. Roger?
Right of that halfway mark on that smaller meter. Roger?
Okay, we'll bring this up a little bit. Hello, audio, 1, 2. I think I'm going to have to maybe adjust this microphone also has a gain on it, but I'm running right at the edge there.
Okay, so what you want to do is make sure, what you have is a output device, amplified output device going into your mic level. And what you want to do is make sure that your mic level is ready to accept the correct volume. So what I'm saying is that, your radio does not have number nomenclature for your mic level input control?
Number nomenclature for your mic level input control?
Negative. Okay, that might be more of what you're wanting. I went ahead and turned the mic gain up on the mic, and that's showing a little closer to what you're telling me to look for on the ALC.
Right, but I think there's a longer story there. What we want is for that level coming in to be at the right level. And the way you do that is that you have a mic gain control. Whether you have numbers on it or not, it has a midway turn point between all the way off and all the way on. So we want to put that mic gain control in the middle position, halfway between all the way on and all the way off. And then we go to our external mic gain control and adjust it for the ALC meter nomenclature, Roger. In other words, what we're doing is putting our radio mic level control in the mid position, and then tweaking the outboard amp for the ALC reading, Roger.
The outboard amp for the ALC reading, Roger.
Okay, that's basically what I did, and it's lining up just like you were telling me you would like to that I need to see on here. Does it sound somewhere close to you?
Sounds a little hot to me, so I would put that mic level control, your internal mic level control, at noon. If other things are, normal, that you have a 6 a.m. to start and a 6 p.m. to finish, then noon would be the nominal input level. Roger?
Then noon would be the nominal input level. Roger?
Okay. Now that I just adjusted the microphone mic gain level. Did that take the hotness out of it?
Okay, so what I want you to do now then is go to your export your export mic level control and adjust it to when you say audio that you're running that ALC meter in the sweet spot of 2/3 or 7, Roger?
Spot of 2/3 or 7, Roger.
Okay. Audio. All right, yeah, I see it's a little bit hot here. Hang on. Okay, that's that right there. I'm just going to talk normal, and that's showing about where you wanted me to be on ALC.
Roger. So tell me about your antenna system in about 10 seconds or so.
Tell me about your antenna system in about 10 seconds or so.
Okay, I'm running, actually it's a compromised antenna. It's a 160 meter full wave loop, running fed with ladder line and running into an outboard tuner, and actually at this frequency it does not like to match up real well. The tuner matches it, but it's got my power down. Let's see here. Let me go to this here a minute. Audio. Well, actually, the power's up. I was on the wrong deal. I'm doing 100 watts. So this antenna the radio is seeing the antenna's a match. So maybe, of course, the antenna's not real high either.
Roger. So everything just sounds just beautiful. Your EQ curve is very articulated. No problem there at all. Your level is right on. So I would call it, yay, one for the home team, Roger.
I would call it, yay, one for the home team, Roger.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yeah, this is a new microphone that I haven't run, and I was just here listening, and I said, now would be the time for me to set it up. I wouldn't have to be aggravating a lot of people. And I appreciate it a whole lot. You're a really big help. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Now, just out of curiosity, are you about 3 or 4 inches away from that mic?
Are you about 3 or 4 inches away from that mic?
Probably was that time. Now I'm about a foot away from it.
Okay, what I want you to do, just out of curiosity, is come into about 3 inches. 3 inches distance from your mic element, and let me listen to you.
Distance from your mic element, and let me listen to you.
Okay, that's 3 to 4 inches roughly, and I'll just talk a little bit. This is KD4TMB in Martinsville, Virginia. Over.
Yes, sir. I think that sounds good. Somewhere right between there and the other. The other sounded great. This sounds great, but this might be great plus, I think. So what you might want to do, though, is in the future at your convenience, and I suggest this to everybody that has a microphone on their radio, to get themselves a foam windscreen and slip over that microphone, and that just is like a double whammy filter that takes all of the garbage that might be coming down the line, the high plosives, the wind velocities off your mic, and it directs them away from the element, magically directs them away from the element, so the mic, is waiting to translate audio vibrations into electronic impulses. And then all of a sudden, here comes this wind velocity that may be 4 times hotter than what it was trying to deal with. And the mic says, what am I going to do here? And it's very limited what it can do, and probably does distort. But with a foam windscreen, it just takes that wind velocity and moves it right on off away from the microphone before it even touches the element. Roger?
Away from the microphone before it even touches the element, Roger.
Okay, just so happened I had one handy, and I've got it slipped over here now. Did that make any difference? Over.
Oh boy, I feel so secure. I have never listened to another station that I felt more secure in listening to, and I'm not going to get distorted, Roger.
Secure in listening to, and I'm not going to get distorted, Roger.
Okay, sir. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everything you do, and you've helped me a whole lot, and I thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Well, you're just sounding marvelous. Sounding absolutely marvelous. Take a picture of your system and run it just like that. And if you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,700, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
And I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Okay, let me get a piece of paper. What was that call again?
Roger, the call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Roger?
KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Roger?
Okay, all righty. Well, I will check that tomorrow when I'm sitting around not doing anything.
Roger, Roger. We should have it up by noon tomorrow. So 73 there, Paul, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, Roger.
Paul, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, Roger.
Okay, again, thank you very much. Kilo Delta 4, Tango Mike Bravo. We're clear. Thank you.
Roger, Roger, Paul, 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Good afternoon, Jim. K4HEW, Joe, over in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Roger, Roger, Joe. What's been going on, man?
Roger, Roger, Joe. What's been going on, man? Well, I just wanted to thank you. I listen in when I can, and you really preach the gospel. I love it. My radio has been, since the last time you and I touched it, it has gotten so many good compliments, I can't count them all. Everybody, I'm convicted of owning an amplifier, an RF amplifier. They all think I've got how much power you run, how much. I just got a 100-watt ICOM 7300, and it's tweaked per Jim. KC9VKV, K4HEW. Roger?
Roger, Joe. You're in North Carolina, is that a Roger?
Roger, Joe. You're in North Carolina, is that a Roger? Roger that, just east of Raleigh and Clayton, North Carolina.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, I think that there are certain places on this earth that are prone to be in channels, transmit channels. Transmit signals tend to go in these channels better than other channels. So some operators receive, a lot hotter signals than other operators simply because of their location. And I've noticed this particularly on, 80 meters, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm working in California. Transmit direct my location to California, but I cannot copy the signals back from California. And I'm wondering why, because if it would seem to me that if it goes one way, it's going to come the other way, but it doesn't. And so my signal from Indiana, around Louisville, is going all the way out to the ocean, in California, and I have to use, what is that other SDR, Half Moon Bay. I have to use Half Moon Bay, which is in California, to copy the mail on California stations. Roger.
To copy the mail on California stations. Roger. That is freaky. We don't understand everything we know about RF, but it does keep us interested. Your signal right there was peaking at 20 over when you were talking with the other fellow there a moment ago. It was about a solid 5.9. Hey, you're 20 over. You must be, which means I think you're straight west of me, which means you would be beaming east if you have a antenna, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Well, I'm always transmitting on my this antenna that. Hang on just a minute. Let me check, see what I am doing there. Okay, the first thing is I almost have no SWR. It's just amazing that I've worked on this antenna so long, and I know that there's no difference probably between a 1.5 and where you can't see the meter move, but it's just a personal challenge for me to get that down there as low as possible. Roger?
For me to get that down there as low as possible. Roger? Oh, roger that. I'll tell you, even a 2-to-1 or even a 3-to-1 SWR, you really can't hear the difference. The difference would be out in California. Can they hear you? A little bit more RF going that way. A little more fire in the wire, as they say. Well, Jim, you have really helped me with this 7300, and I put a drop of super glue on all the settings, the ALCs and the low end, the high end, the bandwidth, and the compression. The 7300 I've found wants a little compression. Give it what it wants. Give it more compression. And I think I have this thing set at about 4 or 5, which is max. But I do have that wireless headset, and it tends to be a little hot on its own. So I don't put any compression in from the radio. I let it handle that chore by itself. Roger?
Roger, it just sounds beautiful. I wouldn't change a thing. And if you want to listen to it, if you go to YouTube, do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. We'll take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger? Wonderful, wonderful. I'll do that. I certainly will. And you enjoy the weekend. By golly, it's spring is here, and I think I've heard the weathermen here locally say that this blast of cold air that we just got through is about the last gasp for winter. There's nothing else coming from the polar ice cap, and the next wave is going to be warm. So I think spring has arrived right on time. K4ATW, we'll be clear in your final, Jim. Thanks a bunch.
Roger, Joe. Well, gee, you just spoke words of praise to me. I like the different conditions weather-wise in southern Indiana, down around Louisville, where we are. But I must admit that I appreciate the summer aspects a little bit more than the winter aspects. So there you go. Joe, 73, sir, you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. I'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Station calling, I'll tell you what, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger?
Antenna system and see if path for us, Roger?
Not copying anything. Station calling. Try again, please. Tell me about your antenna system for about 10 seconds, please.
For about 10 seconds, please.
Well, I tell you, I'm not copying anything at the moment, so I think we're going to ditch out of here, and we'll say 73 to everybody. If you did make contact and would like to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3700, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. And with all that being said, we've got to get out of here and return the frequency back to normal amateur radio radio use. This is KC9VKV Clear.